The Honourable Member of Yalibu Pangia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make some comments on this budget. But firstly, let me also join you in expressing our sympathies and our prayers to the families of the late Minister and member for Teleforming, to his people of Teleforming. We share this great, huge loss to your family with you on this occasion, and we offer you our prayers and our condolence. But, Mr. Speaker, I also want to congratulate the Treasurer for bringing another budget to this Honourable House, and pay respect to many of the Treasury officials who have worked so hard to prepare this budget for us for deliberations here today. I must say that I know that they've been under a lot of pressure from our Minister, our Prime Minister, other ministers, probably members of Parliament, our bilateral partners like IMF, to include all sorts of things and all sorts of cuts to the budget. But once again, they've done a tremendous job, so I pay my respects to them as well. Mr. Speaker, the Treasurer enjoyed making a few comments about the other guy, as he normally does at every budget session. I thank him for remembering me. But he made reference to my people of Yalupangia on a few occasions, and I want to remind him, they deserve my respect and your respect as well. We can personalize debates on this floor, but I want to say that the people of Yalupangia selected me to this Honourable House on 5 different occasions with massive absolute majority on first count, and they don't need to be insulted, Mr. Speaker. We can debate on policies and issues, but I think we have to have respect for our people. I did not get elected on saucepans and rice bags and things. I got elected in a very proper manner, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, with those, I also want to thank and congratulate the Shadow Treasurer for excellent presentation of his reply to the budget. It was critical, of course, of my government and many things that has happened in the past, but he is warming up, and I'm quite happy to see that. So thank you for the excellent presentation today. Mr. Speaker, this Treasury has seen and delivered very large budgets over the last few years, Mr. Speaker. But these large budgets have delivered less for our people every year, Mr. Speaker, less for our people. Services are declining, law and order and health and education and everything is declining despite massive allocations. We don't know where the money is going, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, even the Prime Minister himself stated publicly and clearly that massive budgets, and he really does not know how it has been spent. So I think, Mr. Speaker, some of these issues around projects that are not delivering to our people and budgets that are not delivering to deliver services to our people need to be re-examined quite properly. And I thank the chairman of the Estimates Committee for bringing a very realistic assessment from their point of view that this budget, again, as presented, is unlikely to deliver on the promises that it is making, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, many projects and many things that we've been assuming that it'll take off the ground, like Papua LNG and WAFI and all these major projects that will underpin our economy, are yet to be delivered, Mr. Speaker, are yet to be delivered. Yet, we are spending massive amounts of money, Mr. Speaker, massive amounts of money. Of course, it is necessary to get the support of our landowners, but without project certainty and FID announcements, government is continuously spending money that is not readily available to them. We are spending money where we are cutting from other sectors in order to meet these demands. When there's project certainty, when you start spending money to all forums and engage with landowner negotiations, that is fine. But we are not talking about just 1 or 2 million kina to all a few meetings, Mr. Speaker. We are talking about tens of millions and sometimes hundreds of millions of kina. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to take stock, and I think as the other speakers have stated, we need to pull back a little bit. And I know that our Shadow Treasurer made reference about past governments, and I've been fortunate enough to be involved in many of them in the past, so let me just make these few comments about that. In 1999, when Makerere government came into formation, we were coming at the back of the Asian financial crisis in 1997. 1997, the collapse of the Asian economies led to PNG economy also struggling and in very dire stress, Mr. Speaker. And of course, Sir Makerere introduced some very tough reforms and tough cost-cutting measures. And that affected the delivery of services, and many of our people reacted badly in the 2002 elections as a result. But those reforms were good for the country, Mr. Speaker, and you have to give credit where it's due. It was good for the country, and some of the benefits of that went over to the following government when Somara came into government in 2002. The benefits of the reforms that Makerere government did. And I've been fortunate enough to be part of that government at some stage or another, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, at 2002 onwards, for 6 or 7 years, we enjoyed some very good commodity price increases at record levels at that time for gold, copper, oil, and so forth. And the revenue flow was very good, Mr. Speaker. Very good, as we are enjoying today. But, you know, we thought that these prices would remain very high for the long time, as we are doing today again, Mr. Speaker. But the prices collapsed. In 2011, when we came into government, the trust accounts were dry. There was hardly, I think there was about 600 or 700 million in various trust accounts. And of course, Mr. Speaker, at the time, given the fast-growing population of Papua New Guinea, Mr. Speaker, our population is increasing at an alarming rate. As a result, we had to take some very tough decisions. We deliberately entered into a deficit budget, Mr. Speaker. And the Treasurer has, over the last 6 years, has done that as well. And getting into a deficit budget is not wrong, Mr. Speaker. As long as you are using the deficit budget into productive areas and productive projects, Mr. Speaker. So this notion that the deficit budget is not good for the country, you have to always have a surplus budget, is not quite true. It's not quite correct. Even the United States, the most powerful country in the world, has continuously been having deficit budgets for many decades now, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so we deliberately went into a very high deficit budget early in 2012, and then slightly reducing it down, every year reducing it down. In 2019, when we left government, it was down to just over 2.1%, I think. If we had continued at that trend, and that's the time when the entire commodity prices collapsed, Mr. Speaker, I think for the oil was $21 per barrel, I think, at some stage within that period. So revenue was drying up. We were depending very much on internal revenue and borrowing domestically, which is quite an expensive exercise to do, Mr. Speaker, borrowing domestically. We borrowed heavily on concessional rates to build infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. All those years we did not invest in infrastructure that will drive our economy, Mr. Speaker, and deliver services to our people. That's why we had to borrow. When we took the office in 2011, the public debt was 9 billion kina. And when we left in 2019, by the 2000 numbers as the good Shadow Treasurer and Treasurers was in 2018, it was 26 billion kina. But we had to borrow heavily to build the infrastructure the country needed, and we are enjoying today, Mr. Speaker. So I make no apology about that. Yes, no government is perfect. There's no angel running this parliament or this country, Mr. Speaker. We have to live within reality. And Mr. Speaker, today, when we have law and order issues, education issues, we have infrastructure challenges right throughout the country, and when we have a massive internal revenue coming in, And I want to give credit to IRC for doing an excellent job. They're doing an excellent job. And why is IMF and the government insisting that they should be supervised? These institutions are supposed to be independent of us, without our influence. And now when we have to appoint political oversight over it, by appointing board members who are, of course, will be appointed by government, we are now influencing the operations of the tax. There's no confidentiality at all in the management of tax affairs of this organization. That's exactly what we have done in the Bank of Papua New Guinea. We have brought in a board to supervise the governor's work. The governor was always the chairman of the board and running that organization, very independent of government, Mr. Speaker. So I think, when institutions are working, we have to learn to leave them alone, Mr. Speaker. We have to allow the institution to continue to progress its operations by supporting them through our budget, as we normally do, by allocating them a bit more extra funding to build capacity so that they can collect more taxes for us. Mr. Speaker, so just a few comments about the budget itself, Mr. Speaker. I know that this is record budget, but it's more on a political spin rather than reality, Mr. Speaker. And I know that the Treasurer has put in a very ambitious revenue targets for 2026. Very, very ambitious. He's trying to increase the revenue by introducing some new measures which are going to think that it's going to bring in billions and billions of kina. But when you look at 23, 24, year 24 and now 25, every one of those ambitious plans that we have put, we have not reached those targets. So there is no guarantee, Mr. Speaker. There is no guarantee that they will achieve the revenue targets that they are asking for. They are increasing the amounts that should be collected by IRC. They are increasing the amounts that the non-tax revenue agencies will have to contribute. They are increasing Kumul Petroleum dividend by 2 billion kina. Now, I and of course Honorable Kaingaku are responsible for establishing that institution. And Oktedi, I think there's another 850 million kina dividend expected through Oktedi mine. Now, when we took over this and started this organization, it wasn't built for us to just go in there and grab the cash that's available, Mr. Speaker. When we are having good commodity prices, we are supposed to be saving. We're supposed to be saving the money for future generation. These minerals and these resources will run out, Mr. Speaker. And when they run out, there will be nothing else to replenish that. And of course, when we start grabbing it, there's nothing left for the future generation. So I urge the government to rethink that this is not the right way to go. Last year, I think you budgeted for 1.5 billion kina to collect. And I think you ended up collecting less than 500 million kina. There's no guarantee that you will collect over 3 billion kina this year. That will again put a gap in your revenue, and then that will mean that you will not be able to meet your spending targets. All the projects that you have promised and all the budgets allocations that you have given to departments, there will be realistic cuts in 2026 if we are not careful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just some numbers that should help guide us through this, There is real cost of living crisis among families and our people right throughout the country. They are struggling to fund their day-to-day living. Using the numbers in comparison, as the Treasurer has put it, a family in 2019 was spending 1,000 kina a month for their daily living. Now there's a need about 1,330 kina a month, and many of them are not even earning that much. Our per capita numbers may be high, but we are assuming that number translates to each individual earning that kind of money to pay for family expenses. It is not, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when they have challenges in meeting medical bills, school fees, day-to-day, fuel, buying kai for families, this kind of revenue, this kind of money that they are earning is not able to sustain it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we also see that the Treasurer has targeted very significant number of growth for the economy next year. But if he looks at it, his growth average over the last 5 or 6 years has been just around 2%. You know, for 4.2% is unrealistic. Unrealistic growth. It is certainly not something that you can believe in, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we say about growth, it is quite artificial. You know, the growth is driven by very high commodity prices. This growth is written by high commodity prices. You have in world record prices on gold. You got very high prices on in copper and of course LNG and oil and gas. So this is driving our growth in our country. It is not driven because everybody's got a job to contribute to nation building. What is lacking is projects that are going to provide employment. And Mr. Speaker, you know, the treasurer has got a job. You know, you can laugh about it, but the rest of Papua New Guineans don't have a job. He's getting paid every fortnight, but everybody else is not getting paid. This is what we are talking about, Mr. Speaker, that we need to be realistic in our projection. In terms of debt levels, as I said, in 2018, using the graph that the Honorable Kramer has just presented, we left the total debt at 26 billion kina in 2018. Of course, that has now climbed to over 60 billion now, so we expect it to be close to 70 billion by end of this year. That means we are continuing to borrow more and more. But we are not borrowing to build the economy, we are borrowing to consume. That's the problem. We're using it to fund the budget to pay bills. And bills that the governor for ECPIC was talking about. He was talking about bills about floating checks. When you don't have the money, stop writing the check. You know, when we had a temporary facility at the central bank, it was close to 200 million kina a year. But this government has increased it up to 2 billion kina, almost 2 billion kina. You know, you can't live on overdraft. It's a temporary advance facility, is just an overdraft in normal terms. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, you can talk about this. Everybody said numbers don't lie. You know, I don't run around making promises that I can't keep. You know, Mr. Speaker, of course, when we look at external debt, you know, external debt in 2018 was 12 billion kina. Now it's almost 30 billion kina, 29 billion kina, external debt alone. Now, with that kind of money coming in, these are concessional borrowings that we are talking about. It should go into building classrooms, building hospitals, upgrading major highways that is really needed for the economy to run. Instead, you know, we are paying close to 4 billion kina interest bills a year. 4 billion kina interest bills a year. That is more than what we are paying for health services, Mr. Speaker. That's what we're paying more than health services. We're paying 3.7 billion kina for interest bills in the country. And on health, we are paying only 3.2 billion kina to run the entire health system in the country. That's what we have budgeted for. Next year, this interest payment bill will go up because you are borrowing more. That at the same time, your spending on health will still remain below that. And of course, law and order only gets 2.5 billion kina. All these massive tribal fights and murders and the killings that are going on all throughout the country. You know, someone needs to take responsibility, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, I won't talk about a lot of other things because my time is running out, but capital investment that the country is now embarking on, allocated 10 billion kina in this budget to invest in capital. Last year, you did not even spend up to the budgeted amount. Why are you continuously increasing projects and ambition to spend more when you are not able to spend what you budgeted for the previous years? Mr. Speaker, these commodity prices will not remain high forever, Mr. Speaker. Government needs to realize that they'll come down and your revenue will run out. And when it runs out, when you don't have savings, you will not fund anything. Mr. Speaker, so I think, you know, we are promoting too many Kaikai man in this country. Too many Kaikai man. We need to promote savings culture in this country, and government must lead by saving. Save money for the future, not Kaikai for today. Thank Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Talking Prime Minister tu, emiat masawe. Yeah, kakak tu mas lotari.
Your